good evening. Welcome to 100% LCFC. It's Monday night. It is the fan zone. We're in the close season. There should be not a lot to talk about, but as ever, with Leicester City, there is loads and loads and loads to talk about. I'd like to welcome you if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Periscope or YouTube. Get your comments in. I can pull people's comments on screen. Hello, let's get the hellos through the way. Hi, Nathan. How are you? Good. Thanks for that. Thanks for watching. Hi, Richard Wilson's in here. Andy Carver's watching. How are you? Let's get them all in. Jason Mills. Hi. Thanks for watching, Jason. Get your comments in. What do you all want to talk about tonight? Richard Court. Hello to you. Nice to see you. Andy Carver. Get your views in, get your comments in. Let us know what you want to talk about. Loads and loads of people. Ivan Gibbs trying to get everybody on here to give everybody a shout out. Nice and early doors. So, what do we all want to talk about? Puel, we can still talk about Claude Puel. I think we're all starting to swing. That's my interpretation of the different fans' views. I've got Chris waiting in the wings. Chris Forian from Leicester Till I Die. Lee Marie says, A up, my ducky. Yeah, A up to you. How are you, my duck? Scott's come straight in saying 20 mil for Vardy, lol. What for his left foot? There is big talk of Jamie Vardy going to Atletico Madrid. I, for one, don't want him to go, of course, but I, for one, probably wouldn't blame him if somebody like Atletico Madrid did come in for him. But we'll ask Chris about that in a minute. Giuseppe's already coming in saying, do you think Atletico will get Jamie Vardy in? Andy Carver saying, how much is Vardy really worth to Leicester City? Thomas is asking, what do we think about the new hands? What do we think about the new signing? Looks good. Gavin is talking about loads and loads of comments coming here. Gavin saying, is Vardy leaving? Right, before I ramble on too far, too long, let's bring Chris in. Chris, how are you?
Good evening, Phil. I am good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Chris, let's introduce you properly. You are from Leicester Till I Die. I know a lot of 100% fans will, of course, be on your Facebook channels, but let's get the plugs in early.
Always a plug. Always a plug. Yeah, Leicester Till I Die is the group. Leicester Till I Die is also the page on Facebook, and at Leicester TID on Twitter.
Fantastic. So it's great. We have two. It's a bit of a collab sometimes when we do this because you can bring the views from over there. I can bring the views from over here. Let's start. People are already putting comments in. Darren Bradford saying Jamie Vardy is worth loads more than £20 million. What do you think to the Jamie Vardy rumours there, Chris?
It's same old, isn't it? I mean, when was the transfer window when we didn't have the Mahrez saga, when we didn't have the Vardy saga, when half the team were leaving? It's just one of those that I will believe it when it happens. Somebody wrote somewhere, I saw one of the comments, which is probably true, it's all probably down to his wife. What she wants, where she wants to be.
I mean, I could almost see somebody, Chris, if I'm honest, somebody like Atletico Madrid being almost a perfect fit for Jamie Vardy in a way.
I mean, if Atletico Madrid came in for him, you've got to say, yeah, thanks a lot, Jamie, good luck, all the best. You can't sometimes deny, all right, it's not Barcelona, it's not Paris Saint-Germain, but it's still a huge club. And the service that he's given us, he could have gone in the past, he could have gone to Arsenal, he stuck by us, which makes me wonder, maybe, he sees his last, he's probably got a few 2 or 3 years left in him. He probably maybe still sees that at the King Power. I won't believe anything with these rumours until I actually, it's all confirmed, because it's every transfer window. Half of the team are linked with leaving. I mean, how many times has Damari Gray been linked with clubs? Ben Chilwell been linked with clubs? Obviously, Mahrez goes without saying. It's just same old, same old. Let's wait and see until it's firm news and it's confirmed. Then we know. Then we can sort of worry about things.
Yeah, I think that's good comments here. I'm going to bring in there. I mean, do like and share the videos, please, everybody. Get your comments in. I'm going to read through some of the comments here from fans. Scott saying drink water. I think he's saying here, he just says drink water cocked up. I think what he actually means is look what happened to Danny Drinkwater, perhaps to Jamie Vardy before you leap. Michael Payne saying 25 to 30 million is all we will get. Hopefully he won't go, but his age is against us. Tia is saying I don't think he'll go. So Anthony's saying, out still, Jamie deserves a chance. He owes us now, unlike the likes of Danny Drinkwater. Kiefer says, Vardy ain't going nowhere. He's been happy here and just bought a new house up in Lincolnshire. Thomas Hans is saying, if he goes, let's get 50 million for him. Lee Smith is saying, you'll have to look at it and say, if we sell for 20 to 30 million, which for a 31-year-old is about all you'll get, how do you replace a bloke who scores 20 goals a season for you? I think it'd be a massive loss for us. Chris, I know you don't really want to comment on it, but I think we're all sort of thinking this is going to be the transfer window where Riyad Mahrez does go. I think to lose Riyad Mahrez and Jamie Vardy would be like a real hammer blow, wouldn't it, Chris?
Of course it would be, yes. I mean, you're losing probably the two best players you've got at the moment. Yeah, Mahrez, almost certainly he's gone. I mean, I know he's sort of taken himself off the transfer list, but I think that's just agents getting the best deal, because if we then sell him, he gets bonuses and what have you that he wouldn't get if he'd asked for a transfer. I just don't know with Jamie. It's the Willie. I mean, the guy said about the Drinkwater situation at Chelsea. At Leicester, he is a big fish in our pond. He won't be a big fish in the Atletico Madrid pond. Will he get the game time? If he doesn't get the game time, will it affect his England chances? Obviously, it will. I'm not convinced he'll go. I'm going to be honest with you. But if they do come in, I can't blame him if he does.
No. I mean, it's sort of it. I mean, funnily enough, about 2 weeks ago, I did mention before the end of the season that I had a funny feeling that Jamie Vardy might come under some bids this summer, just because I think he's done and proved everything he needs to at Leicester for us. None of us as fans want him to go, Chris, but as a player, to go and play for a big Spanish club, I know it's not Barcelona or Real Madrid, but Atletico, again, they've just won the Europa League. They're back in the Champions League next season. It's a club he's played against, obviously, last season in the Champions League. I come back to the fact that I could see why it could appeal to him to go and have that experience in his career.
I think anybody, if I was in his position and an offer came in, yeah, I'd obviously be, my head would be turned. Of course it would be. And like I say, I don't think any one of us would deny him this chance. I think you've got to look at the fact that Atletico Madrid, I think Torres has just retired. So if he wasn't, then we might not be having this conversation. But there's obviously the link as to why he might be going. I just wonder, will clubs come in with, I mean, we haven't as a team had the best season. He's had better season and stayed with us. Will they come in for him? I mean, there's so much paper talk at this time of year.
I mean, Chris, here's something for you. Obviously, Torres has just finished at Atletico Madrid. He's now a free agent. I believe I'm reading that Griezmann at Atletico may well be on his way. Good grief, could there be an outside chance that Mahrez and Vardy could double go to Atletico Madrid? Would that be terrible? I mean, it would be. We all know that, but could you imagine that?
Yes. You don't know in Mahrez. You know, Roma came in for him not so long ago. It probably would appeal to him because, like I said, they're a big club, they're European champions in the Europa League. I'd be quite happy for them to go there. It means they won't be playing back against us. You know what ex-Leicester players come back and do against the Leicester, don't you?
Chris, on a more positive note, and again, I want people to put their comments in here. What does everybody think about the new signing? Let's bring some positivity into tonight's conversation. I think it's fantastic that we have gone early and made a signing. For me, part of that signifies that Puel is definitely going to stay, because that is why I think they've made the signing so quickly, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it means he does look like what we'd class a Puel signing. He wants to play this sort of winger, wing-back sort of role that I think we've all seen potentially. Mark Albrighton's not really the character for that. Danny Simpson, I don't think fits the role. So I think this signifies, Chris, that this is definitely a Puel signing. What do you think to that?
I would agree 100% with that. And I think you've also got to look at the fact that the transfer window was opened earlier than it normally does anyway, and we've got the World Cup this year. So he's off to Portugal with World Cup squad. if it has a really good World Cup, we could have saved ourselves quite a few million that would have been added on after.
Well,
But
Chris, absolutely. Funnily enough, I was reading some. Lee Chappie was telling us some stuff earlier where he knows some Porto fans, and he was showing us some tweets from Porto fans who are saying what they're pretty furious that they've sold him before the World Cup, because they say that A, they've undervalued him to Leicester, and B, they're expecting him to have a big World Cup and be worth, in the current market, twice what we've just bought him. So a bit like Harry Maguire when we went early last year, could be great news.
dare I say we've done something right in the transfer market for once?
Well, let's hope so.
Let's find some wood to touch. It's a great, and it's a good signing. It's positive that we have got in early. I think we need to because of the World Cup. And I said the window has opened earlier than normal to help us with that. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. It looks like a pro signing, and I think that I think the owners have nailed the colours to the mast and said, yeah, well, you got to get who you want, and that shows I think he's going to stay. We said before that he did what he was brought in to do. He came in when we were down in the bottom three, I think. He saved us. At that point, if we'd have been given 9, we'd have grabbed your hand off. It was unfortunate that, if we'd have gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, we might have been more acceptable. We went sort of pretty decent win, draw sort of run, and then on a bit of a, losing streak. But, yeah, we said before in the previous programme, he has to, I think, be given the off-season to bring his own players in and give him the season to see how he gets on. If we were going to get rid of him, I think they would have done it by now before he goes out and starts buying players that another manager comes in may not want.
Absolutely. I'm going to read out a few fans' comments here on Ricardo. I keep calling him Ricardo. Is that what we're going to know him as, Chris? Is it Ricardo?
I think Ricardo's easy to say, isn't it?
It sounds Brazilian, doesn't it? Ricardo. So anyway, that's what I'm calling him. Richard Wilson saying the new signing looks really good. Lee Clark, hi Lee, thanks for all your graphics. Says potentially one of the best right backs in the world. Neil Bennett is saying new signing is great and young. Anthony Lowe still talking about Atletico is not big enough for Mahrez. Gavin says now we can get rid of Danny Simpson. Paul Spilling saying we finally got a great right back. Simpson can't carry on without cover, or now it'd be great cover of a defender. I'd just like to go on record as saying I think Danny Simpson's been a great right back for Leicester City since we've had him. He came from QPR. He'd been around a little bit, Chris, Danny Simpson, but I think he did. Do you know what? It was just a right back, and I don't mean that in a belittling way. He's been a fantastic just a right back. Did exactly what we needed, as did Robert Huth, Wes Morgan, and Christian Fuchs.
Exactly. He did what he said on the tin, didn't he? And fans are fickle. Fans love players one season, hate them the next season. He was an integral part of the Premier League winning team. I like the guy. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think the fact of the matter was he was, I think, good at what he did, but we didn't have the cover there for him. And that was proved when he went out, and especially like you said, the way that Crow's looking forward, that's not a position that Mark Albright can play.
We had a little bit of a look yesterday at players who could come in, and one name that is coming in, Chris Diggle saying, where is the next defender coming from? Mason is saying, I'd look at Mawson from Swansea if we don't get Johnny Evans. The rumour is, Chris, that Johnny Evans is again high on the list. £7 million, of which 4 million could be going to the player's agent.
I'm in the wrong job here, aren't I?
We all are.
Yeah. I mean, we paid, was it 9.9 million we paid in agents fees the other season, and we talk about paying 4 million possibly for one. I like Johnny Evans. We've been in for him before. He's obviously good because you have the big clubs allegedly looking at him as well. A lot of people say, like, why are we going to clubs that sort of get relegated? I mean, that was what one guy on my side said. Why are we going to clubs that are getting relegated for defenders? We'll just say, well, 2 words, Harry Maguire. Mawson, Evans, I'd be happy with either of them. I think the thing with the central defence is that we need to keep hold of Dragovic. I love Dragovic, and I think if we can hold on, I don't know if he's gone back yet. I presume he may have done, but we have the option, I think, to buy him permanently. and he did nothing wrong when he was called on. In fact, I think it was a shame and unfair that just because Morgan was fit and came back, that Dragovic was dropped.
I don't know
But
what.
again, you
Yeah,
need cover there anyway, so in fairness. But
I agree. I'd be interested to see what people want to put in the comments about Dragovic. I think most Leicester fans would like to sign him. I certainly would, Chris. I agree with you. I'd like to see him play more. And I think if you look at the stats since Christmas, when Dragovic was playing in defence, we didn't let goals in. It was blindingly obvious. And but I'd be surprised if Dragovic himself wants to join Leicester now.
I think he probably is a little bit sort of what the hell have I got to do? And
Yeah,
I think I've always been an advocate of if you're in the team, then that's your position to lose, and you don't lose your position just because the person that you replace is coming back and he's fit again. And we've had this conversation. I love Wes Morgan to bits for everything he's done, but he's kind of past the sell by date now. He really is. And not saying we should get rid of him. I think there's probably if you got 10 minutes to go and you're holding onto a lead, stick him in the back and let him clear up, but not as a starter. I love him to bits, but we need to move on now.
I've got Chris. I'm going to read a couple of comments out here because I think people are still talking about this. This refers back to John Rudkin, the scouting team, what goes on behind Leicester. Because somebody quite rightly, Steve Gibson here, saying we wanted Johnny Evans last summer for 23 million before Puel. So if we sign Johnny Evans now, is this a Puel signing? Well, I think, Chris, my understanding, and other fans have put similar comments in, my understanding is that we've got a big infrastructure at Leicester when it comes to signings. I'm sure the manager has some input on it, but there's a big scouting network. I think the days of a manager signing players specifically, I think that's changed at Leicester now.
I think it's changed at a lot of clubs,
Yeah.
but I think if a manager is worth his soul, let's face it, the manager's job depends totally on how that team performs. Even though he's got no control, we know when they step over the line, he's got control on formations, substitution. He's not. I can't see a manager worth his salt actually going and saying like, "Yeah, do you go and sign a load of players I've never heard of that I don't know that I don't want," which allegedly goes on at Chelsea, but that's another story. But you know, if they came to him and said, surely we want looking at this player, we're looking at Evans, what do you think? Well, and he should have that final say, yes or no. I mean, go back to the Pearson era, when you had Walsh and the whole setup there. Pearson necessarily didn't do the scouting, but I bet you anything Pearson had the last say on who came in and who went. Which leads me on to, do we go back into Steve Walsh, of course, now he's been sacked by Everton?
Oh, has he? So I've missed that one. Has he been sacked?
Yes, yeah, when Allardyce went, I believe he was sacked. So he's available again now.
Well, and there's rumours of West Ham coming in for one of our high-up scouting guys. I forget the guy's name off the top of my head. I've not written it down. So there is potentially movement around at some of the clubs at this stage. So would you have Steve Walsh back? Would you, Chris?
Yes. I think you got to say, look at. I don't think at Everton the signings he made were particularly bad signings. Again, it was the way they were managed. You had Koeman and you had Allardyce, two completely different managers with completely different styles, trying to use the same players that had been brought in. But yeah, I'd have him back at a drop of a hat. You've got to after the players he found for us. You've got to have him back.
There's talk again. Slimani might, paper talk, but Slimani might want to go back to Sporting. Fair enough.
Let him go.
For me, I've said since 3 months after seeing him first ever play for Leicester, I don't think he's good enough. But I also would say I don't think he was given a good enough chance. And if he was to stay at Leicester, I'd like to see him given a better chance, Chris. But there's quite a lot of players there. Slimani,
do we
Musa,
play,
Mendy.
or have we ever played the sort of football that suits his style? And we know you can go out, and I'll go back, I'm probably older than you, but when Liverpool were great and Man United were trying to catch them up, Man United went out and bought anybody because they were a name. Not because they necessarily fitted into the team, but because they didn't want anybody else to get them. And there's no point buying a player or keeping a player and then not playing to the strengths. Like with Vardy, if Vardy had gone to Arsenal, would Arsenal have played to Vardy's strengths? I don't think they would. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't end up going. He wasn't. I think we all admit Simone he wasn't given a fair crack of the whip at all. But I just don't think he was the right player for us. But then I love Musa, so what do I know?
Yeah, you love Musa, Chris. Did you just come out and publicly say that?
Yeah, I think he was never played correctly. He was played on the wing, and he's a striker. Look at what he did against. I know I keep harking back, but look what he did against Barcelona. In the first game, I like the guy. He's doing it at is it St. Petersburg? He's gone back to or CSK?
I think CSK, yeah.
And he's knocking a couple of goals in a game over there.
Chris, I've got Reese is joining us. I've put links out there if anybody else wants to join us. Hello, Reese. How are you?
I'm alright, Phil. How you doing, mate?
Good. Can you see Chris as well, Reese?
I can't, I don't think.
Hopefully can hear each other anyway. Reese, what do you think to the new signing, Ricardo?
Very happy with it. I have watched a little bit of him. He's exactly, for me, what Puel needs. I think he, with what Simpson does, he doesn't do what Puel wants him to do. He wants him to get forwards and quickly and backwards quickly. And Simpson can't do that. So I think with Pereira, is perfect for what we need, in my opinion. So, yeah, very happy with that.
Good. And Reese, was there something you wanted to come on particularly and talk about?
I just wanted to talk about the. I heard rumours about this Marlon deal from Barcelona. He's been playing at Nice. So I didn't know if we were interested in him or anything.
Yeah, Chris, have you heard anything much on that one?
Yeah, this is the Brazilian.
Reese.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't mind him. Let's be honest with you. Again, it's just off-season paper talk. The rumour mill is in full swing. We'll get linked with probably sort of 20-odd players, and 20-odd players of ours will get linked with other clubs. I'd like him. I won't say no to him, but I don't know. I mean, as it's just rumours with that one at the moment.
Here's one for you, Reese. Another Reese has said that there is talk that Vardy has handed in a transfer request. What do you think on Jamie Vardy, Reese?
It's a tough one, really, because it's his last chance for a big career move, really. And would I allow him to go? Yeah, I would. I mean, he's done a lot for the club, and I think it would be foolish to not let him go, really. If he wants to go, if he wants to go to a big club, it's his final chance this year, I think. So, and with Griezmann probably leaving to go to Barcelona, so I think it'll be a good opportunity for him, really. But it'd always be a legend at the club, so I don't think fans would hate him for leaving, in my opinion. So
no, I think that's a good. I'll put that out there to fans. If you actually, nobody wants Jamie Vardy to go. Let's put that out there. But if Vardy was to go, I think most fans would wish him the very, very best. If you do agree with that, stick a thumbs up in the comments or give us a smiley face, something like that. But I think most fans would absolutely not want him to go, but would wish him all the very best. I'm going to try now, just before we carry on. I've got Jamie from the Fox's Arms dialing in all the way from Spain. Jamie,
how are you, pal? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I've just sneaked off work for 5 minutes.
Is it busy down there in the Fox's Arms?
Well, do you want me to show you?
Yeah, come on, take us in there. All
right?
Of course you can.
Hold on, here we go.
Yeah, buy us a drink, Chris says.
Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Here we are. Oh, look, there's all the shirts. You see all the shirts, Phil?
Fantastic. Jamie.
And then outside. Say hello, everyone. Here we all are.
It's the Silver Foxes.
All shout Blue Army. Hey!
Oh, dear.
Chris,
Brilliant.
Jamie, if only we could have a virtual pint, you could give us all one.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
He's gonna pour us a pint now, Sabate.
I'm not gonna drink it. Hold on. All right.
I'll use my tea, Phil.
Oh, look at this.
Is that good enough for you?
It's making us all very jealous. A Monday night.
Can't you go off people, eh? Can't you go off
Cheers.
people?
Jamie,
Yes, pal.
what do you think to the Jamie Vardy rumours?
I can't see it happening, to be honest. I'll be very surprised. There's not been a lot in the papers over here about it, in the Spanish papers at all today. So I think it's just paper talk. Well, I hope it's paper talk. But there's been nothing over here in the papers. Normally, they're pretty good over here.
I'm laughing at people's comments. Jamie, Anthony Lowe says, get in the pool again.
Oh, I'm not doing that. It was freezing yesterday. It actually took my breath away when I jumped in.
Lee Clark says, do some work, stop slacking. And Jason Mills saying, is it OAP night down there tonight?
I tell you what,
This...
it bloody feels like... I've just moved out the corner. It bloody feels like it, I must admit.
There's some silver foxes there. Silver fox.
More
night.
than silver foxes.
Right, and what else, Jamie? What do you reckon to this new signing, Ricardo?
Oh, fantastic. The only problem I have is I think a lot of people know that watch my show, I prefer it British. I'd like to see British in Premiership experience. That's the only problem I have. But other than that, I think he's a quality player in Portugal and for the Portugal side. There's no Premiership experience. That's the only problem I've got. But other than that, I think he's a quality player.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, I'll ask you the same. I tend to be agreeing with what Jamie's saying there, is we have signed a lot of players in the last couple of seasons from Europe, and I'm going to say most of them haven't come off.
They haven't, but then have we signed the right players? Whether a player is English, Scottish, Welsh, Nepalese, Australian, if they're the wrong player, they're the wrong player. And I think the problem we've always had with British players is you're paying a lot more for them. And I think that, when you look at what we give me teeth in tonight, what we've paid for players over the past few seasons, there'd have been a lot more had they been British.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm going to go through people. I'm going to start with Reese, then you, Chris, and then end up with you, Jamie. Like I said in one of the videos last week, I am now on the let's keep Puel in side of the fence for sure. And I think let's stick with him and go for him. Puel in-ish. Yeah, I think that's where I am. Reese, where are you on that one?
Puel in all day. You've got to give him a chance. Got to give him a chance, in my opinion.
Okay.
The bloke ain't had a penny to spend yet. He's bought in one player, Diabate, and he's looked quality. So I'll give him a chance. I'm Puel in all day. All day.
Chris, over to you.
I find it hard with Bell to sort of get any feelings either way. If they came out tomorrow and said we sacked him, I'd go, yeah, great, no problem. And if they came out and said, I'd go, yeah, great, give him the season. It just doesn't inspire any emotions in me one way or the other. That said, I agree with Reese, and I've said this before, you've got to get the guy a chance to bring his own players. And I think the fact that we brought Ricardo in now shows that we are going to stick with him.
Jamie, over to you.
Well, I think people know through my shows that I was a very much Puel in man. Very much Puel. You've got to back him all the way. But then we had the debacle at Crystal Palace and West Ham, and I was sort of changing a little bit. I was about 50-50. And then we played against Arsenal and Spurs, and it changed a little bit again. But I'm still sitting on the fence at the minute, I'm afraid. I'm not fully back on the Puel inside at the minute. Maybe a couple more decent signings like this Evans and what was the other one? The bloke from Barcelona. Whether that happens, I don't know. But I'm sitting on the fence at the minute, unfortunately.
Fine. Okay, I'm just going to read out a few fans' comments who are reacting to that. David, I was calling him David. He's not some French player.
I'll do it.
David Gavin says, if Puel goes, this increasing uncertainty keeps him going. Give him money to spend. Richard Ray is still Puel out. Luke Charlton is saying, I'm giving him till Christmas, but then saying Puel out. Darren saying, if the owners are backing Puel, then we should back him. Craig says, in for me. Steve Mardy says Puel in. Adam says Puel do. I don't know if that's in or out. James, though, is Puel out. And Jason Mills is saying, I'm well and truly on the fence with a wedgie. So Jamie's left us. Thanks, Jamie, for making us all feel pig sick that we're not in Mallorca with a pint of beer. But thanks for joining us. And, of course, Jamie's every Sunday at 9:30. Reece, let's just finish off here. A lot of people saying in the owners we trust. So let's finish off with that sort of sentiment. The owners have done nothing but great stuff for us.
Yeah. Yeah. They got a lot of stick when they sacked Ranieri. They got a lot of abuse for that. But in my opinion, it was the right decision. I think with Ranieri, we would have gone down, and it's hard for me to say, but I think we would have gone down. They did the right. I don't think they did the right thing in giving Shakespeare the job. I wouldn't have given it him. I'd have asked him to be kept on as an assistant. But in the end, they did the right thing of getting rid of him because, in my opinion, he weren't good enough. So I'm happy that they're backing the manager, and I'm pretty sure that he'll remain maybe till Christmas. If the results ain't picked up by Christmas, then I think he will be sacked, which is quite sad. But we'll just have to see, won't we?
Okay, just before I come to you, Chris, if it's all right, I can see Tom. God, what on earth are you wearing, Tom? It looks like a string vest, mate.
Yeah, mate.
I know you're on holiday, aren't you?
I am on holiday.
Well,
Let's you pop in now.
First, we've had Jamie come on and make us feel pig sick with a beer. Now you're on holiday in the sun, in your string vest. Go on then. What are your views on a Ricardo? Vardy out to Atletico Madrid.
I think I made quite clear earlier, if you get 40 million for Vardy, he's 20-plus goal striker, and he's going abroad, then I think you probably have to take that kind of money for someone at 31 when you only paid £1 million and reinvest in the squad. Ricardo, well, what can I say about Ricardo Pereira? He's got a very good background by the sound of it, and it's the type of player what I've been talking about for months that Pure wants to bring in for the overlapping fullback who's going to attack, the byline and put crosses in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Chris, the owners we were just talking about, you're going to keep backing them, aren't you, obviously? There's no reason not to. It goes without saying.
At the end of the day, it's their club. They own it. They can do what they want. Let's be honest with you. But you've got to. I mean, after everything they've done, where we were when they took us over, the debt they got us out of, where they've bankrolled us to get in, and even if we are finishing 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, it's still great for a club of our size and history. And
yeah, I agree.
When you look at like the West Ham situation, I'm glad we've got our owners and not their owners. You've got to back them 100%.
A lot of fans are saying, like here, Drew says, depends on how we play in the first 2 months. I think that first, when we see the fixture list, when that comes out in, it's going to be after the World Cup. That's going to be very interesting. I'm definitely hoping that, we called it last season. We said as soon as we saw the fixture list on the day they were announced that was going to be really tricky for Shaky, and it'll be the same for Puel because he won't be given much tolerance by the fans, I don't think, will he, Reece?
No, I don't think he will, and I think a lot of fans have already lost patience. Well, most fans have lost patience with him. So if he gets like Man United, like Shaky, if he gets the fixtures that Shakespeare got, then I think he could be gone in the first 2 months, like Shakespeare was. Yep.
Chris, do you agree? It's going to be interesting to see the fixtures.
Yeah, and as much as you back the owners, they have shown they're not scared to pull the old trigger when it's needed. These days, it's how long do you give a manager? We know we're never ever going to see the likes of the Wenger years at Arsenal and Ferguson years at Man United again. That will never happen. In fact, I don't know why managers aren't just put on rolling contracts, which there's a hell of a lot of compensation being paid. But it will depend on. And how long is I don't know how long you do give a manager. I don't think you look beyond the fixtures. You look where you are sat in the table, and if 2 or 3 months into there you are sat in those bottom 3 or 4 positions, you are looking at the money that you're going to lose by getting relegated. And do you make that decision then, or do you do what Southampton did, and leave it on, and Stoke and all those leave it right until the end. That's
Yeah, and look at this. Look at the state of them now. Look at the state of them. They nearly went down. If it weren't for Mark Hughes, they'd have gone down. I think if they'd kept Puel, they'd have been more stable, mid-table-ish.
We worked with the Southampton fan, and he when we got Puel, and I went to him and said, look, all you fans have been saying, like, oh, it's boring this and boring that, and he went, we finished with it, seventh or eighth. They finished, and in the cup final, they would have had him back. He preferred Puel over whatever the guy's name was that they had before Mark Hughes. So, and I think if you look at his history as well, where Ranieri always has all his clubs have a good start and then tends to fade off. Puel seems to sort of not necessarily have a good start, but always comes good in the second, third season.
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
Right, chaps, it's just gone 9 o'clock. I'd like to thank, firstly, Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Get those plugs in again. It's, of course, the Facebook group, the page, the Twitter.
At Leicester TID on Twitter, and also the website, leicestertillidie.com.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
It's a pleasure, mate.
Thank you very much. Reese, thank you as well for joining us.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
Good to see you last week, and good to have you on this week.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. See you soon.
Thank you. And of course, thanks to Jamie from the Fox's Arms, all the way over there in Alcudia, having a pint and virtually sharing it with us. And, well, should I thank Tom for coming on in that vest? I wish I'd have took a screen grab picture of Tom's vest. Deary me, if that's what he calls his holiday clobber, he needs to go to Top Man or somewhere. He probably tells me that's all the fashion, and I'm living in retro 1970s land. Anyway, thanks everybody who's been watching. If you can like and share the video, that would be absolutely brilliant. Dipak and Don are around at 10 o'clock-ish on Thursday for a late night boozy chat. Jamie's here every Sunday at 9:30. We're back here next Monday. We'll be popping on live the minute anything comes news in the transfer window. So if you see us going live, we'll be chatting about the latest news, the gossip. If you want to subscribe to us on any of the channels, that'd be great, because then whenever we do go live, you'll get a notification. Like and share the videos, and we'll see you all soon. So from me, Phil, 100% LCFC, it's been a pleasure chatting with the guys and with all your comments. Jason's got me right at the end with sack the vest. You wait, I hope, Tom, if you're watching this, you're getting grief for that vest. I think next week we're all in vests, live on 100% LCFC. I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh.